My name is Hans, and I come from India. So I first moved here in the 2018 August, and that was for my master's in mathematics. I started like making a lot of new friends and sort of felt like instantly very at home in Lund. And yeah, in many ways, I just felt very human in some sense. Because I think as an LGBT person, it's been very difficult growing up in India. Towards the end of my time here for my visa, when it was about to expire, I realized that I did not feel safe in going back, especially after how far I've come after moving here, and like how I could sort of like deal with those aspects of my identity as LGBT in many ways, kind of, which were possible only because I was here. I realized I really can't go back to sort of going back into the closet. It just felt so unsafe. I applied for asylum as an LGBT person. Going through that process was definitely one of the hardest things I've done in my life. It was quite traumatizing in many ways because there's the questions and the interviews that you have to go through. There's a lot of very intrusive questions, and it just felt like no matter what I said, it wasn't enough. And I got a rejection from there. But in the meanwhile, I already got a job, but that would still not be enough for a work permit. And I had to appeal that decision because by then I could speak Swedish very fluently. And that's when I got my second rejection from the migration court, which means that the next appeal is the last appeal that you can possibly put. Yeah, that's when we realized that I might have to go back. The sort of way they make these decisions on the base of human rights, I think it's very flawed, to the extent where they are willing to negate the experiences of someone who's coming there and sitting in front of you and saying what they've gone through, and then you tell them that this is not what's happening to you. When you like belong to different kinds of groups, it's even harder with the amount of discrimination that you face to actually sort of get the help you need from organizations and like systems which are made to support your rights but manage to not do it, still denying a lot of people a safe place to live. So we had like a month, and by that time my boyfriend, who I'd been dating for like 7 months at the time, he was Danish, and we decided to apply for family reunification through the EU right to mobility, and then we got it through a month. And now I've gotten my visa for 5 years here, and then I can apply for permanent residence. European law is still trying to maintain this history of like human rights sort of movements across Europe. The problem is that you have the same regulations but being interpreted in different ways in all the different countries, and the EU law still sort of maintains that. Because I've invested so much of my energy and effort into sort of like learning the language and sort of getting used to the society, making friends and making like a network here, and like I have so much here that I would lose. It's just so unthinkable to be able to sort of be ripped out of that. So now I'm working here with two part-time jobs at the same time from the same workplace. I'm working with LGBT teenagers here in Malmö. Yeah, I'm ready to spend the rest of my life in this country. So